If you've been hearing all the talk about a possible $2,000 tariff dividend check and wondering whether anything is actually coming before Christmas, you're not alone. A lot of people on Social Security, SSI, SSDI, VA benefits, and families using SNAP have been asking the same question, especially with prices still high and the holidays putting pressure on everyone's budget. There's been so much confusion online that it's hard to know what's real, what's rumor, and what's just political talk. That's why we're breaking it down clearly in plain language so you can understand what the president actually said, what it means for your wallet, and what you should realistically expect going into next year. I've gone through the statements, the timelines, the financial details, and what policy experts are saying so you don't have to sort through all that noise yourself. A lot of the information out there is incomplete or filled with hype, but we're going to keep this simple and honest. No promises that aren't real, no confusing jargon, just the facts as they stand right now and how they affect people living on limited or fixed income. Think about someone like Maria, a senior living on Social Security who's already choosing between keeping the house warm and picking up her prescriptions. Or James, a veteran on disability who's stretching every dollar until the next VA payment hits. Or a single parent trying to make SNAP last through the month while dealing with school expenses. For people like this, even the rumor of a $2,000 payment sounds life-changing. That's why clarity matters so much, because planning a budget when money is tight means knowing what's real, what's possible, and what isn't happening anytime soon. So here's what we're going to walk through: the truth about whether a Christmas stimulus check is happening this year, what President Trump actually said about timing, how the proposed $2,000 tariff dividend would work, who might qualify if it ever becomes real, why experts are raising questions about the math, and what this all means for people on Social Security, SSI, SSDI, VA disability, or SNAP. We'll also talk about the bigger picture, including the earlier ideas like the tariff rebate checks and the so-called Doge dividend, and why none of them are currently approved. By the end, you'll understand exactly where things stand and what to expect going forward. First, let's make one thing extremely clear: no payment is coming before Christmas of 2025. The president himself said, no, not for this year. It'll be next year sometime. That means there is no approved stimulus, no automatic payment, no official IRS notice, and nothing scheduled to arrive during the holidays. For anyone hoping this could help cover gifts, bills, rent, groceries, or heating costs for this season, it's important to know that nothing is being issued right now. What the president did say is that he hopes to issue some type of $2,000 dividend payment sometime in 2026, likely before the midterm elections. He described it as a dividend funded by tariff revenue and aimed at people with moderate or middle incomes, not high-income earners. But this is not a formal proposal. There is no bill passed. There is no program created. There are no details confirmed about eligibility, payment dates, or how the Treasury would distribute these checks. Right now, it is simply an idea being discussed. To understand why this matters, we have to look at the numbers. The government has collected about $195 billion in tariff revenues so far, but experts say that wouldn't be enough to fund $2,000 checks for all eligible Americans. One policy expert estimated that if the cutoff were around $100,000 of income, 150 million adults could qualify, costing around $300 billion. That means the revenue doesn't match the amount needed. The administration says they could use projected future tariff revenue, but that's still theoretical and not something Congress has approved. For people on Social Security, SSI, SSDI, or VA benefits, here's what this means: there is no extra payment scheduled right now. There's no stimulus check tied to benefits. There's no emergency support coming this December. And if the dividend idea ever becomes real, the eligibility rules haven't been set. In the past, pandemic-era stimulus checks were available to people earning up to $75,000 a year, including seniors and disability recipients, but there's no confirmation that a future program would use the same rules. Still, it's understandable why many hoped for something soon. A $2,000 payment could help someone cover overdue utilities, buy enough groceries to stop cutting meals in half, or finally pay for a needed car repair. Even a smaller amount could help a veteran catch up on medical copays or help a parent get through a tight month. That's why so many people want clarity on whether something is happening now or not. And even though a lot of folks were hoping this would work like the earlier stimulus programs, it's important to remember those payments were passed through Congress during a national emergency. This new idea is not a stimulus bill, it's not tied to the IRS, and it's not connected to Social Security or VA systems. It's a proposal based on tariff revenue, and until Congress writes it into law, it remains just talk. That doesn't mean something can't happen later, but it does mean you shouldn't plan your budget around a payment that isn't scheduled or guaranteed. For seniors on Social Security, nothing about this proposal changes your current payments, your COLA increase, or your eligibility for other benefits. For people on SSDI and SSI, this doesn't affect your disability reviews or your monthly deposit dates. For veterans on VA disability, your benefits stay the same as well. For families using SNAP or EBT, nothing in this proposal changes income calculations or monthly allotments. It's understandable to want a little breathing room, but I want you to have the facts so you don't get misled by rumors online. If anything ever does move forward, it would likely require Congress to outline eligibility rules, income limits, the payment method, and the exact funding source. That process takes time, and it usually involves debates, amendments, and revisions. So, even though the president mentioned a goal of sometime in 2026, that's not a promise. It's a possibility, and only if lawmakers agree and pass a bill. For now, the best thing you can do is stay informed and keep an eye on official information. Checking your SSA, VA, or IRS accounts once in a while can help you catch any real updates. If you're close to income limits for programs like SNAP or Medicaid, staying aware of upcoming changes can help you avoid surprises. And if your budget is stretched thin, local resources like food pantries, utility assistance programs, or rental help can make a real difference, even if they're not always easy to ask about. You deserve support, and using every resource available is smart, not something to be ashamed of. I've seen how even small changes help real people. A retired grandmother wrote in saying that a $20 increase in benefits was the difference between skipping meals and buying enough groceries for the week. A veteran shared that a small refund helped him finally replace a worn out pair of work boots. A single mom said a one time payment let her catch up on the electric bill and avoid a shut-off notice. These moments may seem small on paper, but when you're living month to month, they matter. So even though this particular $2,000 idea isn't happening yet, staying informed puts you in the best position to take advantage of any real opportunities that do come up. And remember, needing help doesn't mean you've failed. You're doing your best in a tough economy. Millions of people are in the same situation, and there is nothing wrong with using the programs that are there to support you. If you want ongoing updates about Social Security, SSI, SSDI, VA benefits, SNAP, stimulus programs, and payment changes, make sure you stay connected so you don't miss anything important. And if you know someone who's also struggling or confused by all the rumors, share this with them so they have the real information too. The more we look out for each other, the stronger our community becomes.